Oh, श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिनी व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः The chapters of Bhagavad Gita, as you know, are unfolding the Mahavakyam Tattvam Asi. So the first 6 chapters unfold the nature of the Jiva, and hence it is called Tvampada section. Okay, where we saw the struggling Jiva, how what is the samsara for the Jiva, what is the Jiva's prayatna, Sharanagati of the Jiva, and Atma Kripa also, and how the solution is provided. That is the nature of the Tvampada. So now chapter 6 is the last chapter of this Tvampada, and it is called by various names: Dhyana Yoga and Abhyasa Yoga, Atma Sanyama Yoga, and it has 47 verses. A very important chapter on the topic of meditation. Now we have done meditation topic before. So one can meditate for various reasons. We want to expand our sensitivity. There is an expansion meditation. Or I want to grasp a value like fearlessness or compassion. There's a value meditation, yeah, and a guna meditation, and so on. But this meditation in the context of Vedanta is called Nididhyasanam or Vedantic contemplation. Contemplation on what? On all that we have done Shravanam of since chapter 2. So Sri Krishna has unfolded the nature of Atma as Aprameyaha, Akarta, Bhokta, Vikari, and so many descriptions we saw. So when we choose to dwell upon this Atma Tattvam, that is on oneself, that is called Nididhyasanam, very important sadhana of the triple sadhana in Jnana Yoga. Shravanam, Mananam, followed by Nididhyasanam. Now, what generally happens in the Shravanam and Mananam stage? So we are all listening to the description of all-pervading Brahma Tattvam, Ishvaraha, Jagat Karanam. Yeah, but that remains quite remote. Even Tat refers to some remote Jnanam, knowledge. So we heard in Drithrishya recently, that is Asti, that is Bhati, and that is Priyam. Yeah. So now this Nididhyasanam, what it does, it brings that Tat Brahma closer and closer till it becomes Aparoksha Jnanam. Aparoksha Jnana means very, very intimately and immediately available as I. So that Asti now becomes Asmi. That Bhati becomes Bhami. And that Priya Nityavastu Brahma becomes Priyatama Atma. So I shine as a conscious being, and Atma is ever dear to me. So the main benefit of meditation is this crystal clear knowledge of the Atma Tattvam. And to discover that core existence, that is the purpose. So in this chapter, we are going to see the guidelines provided by Sri Krishna, and that is why the chapter is called Dhyana Yoga. So now we have about 6 or 7 topics in this chapter, and let us see the titles briefly. So we see that from the verses 1 to 9 are the Bahiranga sadhanas. Bahiranga sadhanas is how can I arrange my priorities and the life disciplines, the outer life, my transactions with others, my role playing. Then topic 2, Antara sadhanas, internal mental disciplines from verses 10 to 15 is how to set up a practice at home. Then what exactly is done in meditation? Dhyana Swarupam is 18 to 26. Then what are the benefits of meditation? That is from 27 to 32. And then what are the obstacles? Sleep is a major obstacle in meditation, because in meditation, the instructions are so soft that it's very natural for the mind to drift off to sleep. That is a major obstacle. But even memory and the mind can pose many other obstacles. That is the pratibandhas and the parihara, the remedies we will see, the twin remedies which Sri Krishna will give to Arjuna. So first we are going to see the Bahiranga sadhanas. What are the disciplines that we have to follow in daily life, which is going to influence the state of my mind? No? And if I want a meditative, contemplative life, what should I do? So the answer is obvious and which we have already heard, which is karma yoga is the first step. So Krishna in the very first verse of this chapter praises the karma yogi. Now look at the first verse. Anashrita karma phalam karyam karma karoti yaha sasanyasi cha yogi cha na niraknir na chakriyaha. So Krishna says, Arjuna, those people who are karma phalam anashritaha, detached with respect to karma phalam, who have prasada buddhi, but who do what is to be done. Karyam karoti yaha. Such a karma yogi is really the true sannyasi. Saha sannyasi. Gives the label of sannyasi and not the niraknihi. Who is a niraknihi? Is the ashrama sannyasi. I described the ashrama sannyasi in the last session, the one who takes up ritualistic sannyasi by performing this Viraja Homa, on the banks of the Ganga. So that person is a niraknihi, means no more fire ceremonies for the sannyasi. Yeah, that was the last one, Viraja Homa. So no more karyas. But now, why is Krishna praising the karma yogi as sannyasi? To encourage Arjuna. Yeah, because Arjuna has to immediately do what? Perform his duty. So Arjuna has a fascination for sannyasa. So Krishna says, look, Arjuna, you are already a sannyasi if you are doing your karma yoga. So then, this is called Nahi Ninda Nyayaha. Yeah. That is, you praise a certain stage of life so that the person is able to follow it. Then what is Karma Yoga? We have seen in the right principles. Yeah, we have seen in detail in chapters 2, 3, 4, and a little bit in 5 also, that how the activities like roles and responsibilities are to be offered as Ishwararpanam and to have the samatvam and prasada buddhi with respect to the results. So such a person is called a arurukshaha. See the word arurukshuhu. Arurukshuhu, Krishna says, is a one who wants to do arohanam. One who wants to do arohanam, climb up where? Come to dhyana stage. So the first step to become contemplative is to have an attitude of karma yoga. And we know karma yoga is going to dilute the powerful raga dvesha in my mind and to remove the turbulence and make it steady and pure. So such a person is called arurukshuhu. Then when the arurukshuhu, mumukshu has reached a level of meditation, then Krishna says one need not do karma yoga anymore. Yeah. So karma yoga is a means for chitta shuddhi. But if I go on doing seva, social seva, karma yoga, get involved in a lot of activities, even with the spirit of detachment, where will be the time to meditate? Where is the time for Shravanam and Mananam? So Krishna says that in the third shloka, Yoga Rudhasya Tasya Eva Shamaha Karanam Uchyate. So for the one who has reached a level of meditativeness, contemplativeness in life, then obviously the outer activities and karmas are going to drop off. As is the guna in the mind, so is the karma. If the mind is very rajasic, then it will be a very hectic paced life. But if the mind has become sattvic, then the karmas are also going to drop off. Then there is a more rich and fulfilling inner life. It's somewhat like that pole vaulter. You all know the pole vaulter. The athlete comes running with a pole and then he leaps and vaults over, but leaves behind the pole. He drops the pole. So karma and karma yoga are stepping stones to dhyana yoga. So once we reach a certain level of steadiness, then we have to balance our outer roles. That is why we have that port reduction. Yeah. Possessions, obligatory duties, relationships, and transactions need to be reduced if one is a arurukshuhu mumukshuhu, who values moksha as the goal and who wants to become a dhyana yogi. That is the point here. In the Kathopanishad, how Yama tells Nachiketa that it looks like the creator, Brahmadev has destroyed the human jiva. Why? By making our senses and mind extroverted. Wherever there's a sound and some attractive sights, the senses go outward. So why is that so? Then Yama explains, Kaschid dhiraha amritatvam avritta chakshuhu bhavati. O Nachiketa. O Nachiketa, but indeed there is a rare one like you, who desire that amritatvam, moksha, praptihi, and return inwards, and who stop chasing the external goals. So the human mind by naturally is restless and seeks to go after short-term goals, long-term goals in the world. But if one has a value for a meditative way of life and moksha, then this is the path. So the first is karma yoga. Then we have an important verse number 5 in this chapter, an oft quoted verse. Uddharit atmana atmanam natmanam avasadaye atmaiva hyatmano bandhuhu atmaiva tripuratmanaha. Many of you would have heard this. Uddharit atmana atmanam. May one lift oneself by oneself. May one not put down oneself by oneself. Atma is one's true friend, best friend, and Atma can be the worst enemy. So here, the word Atma, as you know, sometimes it is used for Chaitanyam, consciousness, but sometimes it is used for the body and the mind. So here, Krishna is saying that without Atma Kripa, we cannot succeed in life. What is Atma Kripa? The grace of my own mind. If my mind can make healthy changes and the proper direction in the life, then I can mold my destiny also in a favorable way. Many people think, oh, it is all prarabdha. This is the way I'm programmed. This is what I have to do. No, prarabdha is what we are faced with. Yeah. So there is an element of purushartha. That is Atma Kripa. That is the grace of one's own mind. No? So when Atma Kripa is there, one will be able to pursue Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasana steadily without interruptions. And we've often heard about the fourfold Kripa. Ishvara Kripa, Guru Kripa, Shastra Kripa, Atma Kripa. Ishvara Kripa, Guru Kripa, Shastra Kripa is readily available, especially in Bharat. We have the teaching tradition, we have gurus, we have access to Shastras, yeah, and Ishvara Kripa is abundant. But is there Atma Kripa which will bring all the grace together, Kripas together? So, this verse is really talking about the role of free will, of prayatna, personal effort. If I make the effort, then I will have that sattvic, pure mind, which is my best friend. But if I defeat myself, if there is a negative, critical, lower mind, which is not kind to oneself, then I become my own worst enemy. So Puja Swamiji will say, be kind to the mind always, and never define yourself by your mind. That means even if life has made me successful or a failure, I'm rich or poor, yeah, whatever is the state, that is a state of the mind. But I need not define myself as per the state of the mind. So it's a very powerful shloka here, which is talking about the Jiva Prayatnam, how to apply the free will to change the course of the direction of my life and in a positive way. That is also in this Bahiranga Sadhana. Then the two more shlokas are 16 and 17. नात्यश्नतस्तु योगोऽस्ति न चैकान्तमनश्नतः न चाति स्वप्नशीलस्य जाग्रतो नैव चार्जुन युक्ताहारविहारस्य युक्तचेष्टस्य कर्मसु युक्तस्वप्नावबोधस्य योगो भवति दुःखः. So these two shlokas are talking about how moderation and balance is so important in life. So the one who is a yogi, yeah. So yogi in what? Ahara, vihara, cheshta, karma, swapna, bodha, all these activities. Am I balanced and poised when I'm talking? Do I know how much to talk, when to talk, whether to talk, in what manner to talk? And then sleep. Am I sleep deprived or am excessive sleepy? Am I eating too much or fasting, starving? And in the karmas, am I a workaholic or can I balance work and leisure? Vihara is recreation. Am I too caught up in gym activities, exercise, or is there a balance? So this shloka says, whoever is moderate and balanced in all the activities of life, then what happens to that person? Yogaha dukkhaha bhavati. Dukkhaha means dukkham hanti. So that yoga of moderation will be the destroyer of sorrow. We can see that today, how diet is such a huge cause for complications and lifestyle diseases. So when we have moderation, practice moderation in everything, then there is a balance. As somebody has said, what is poison? Anything in extreme. Even if it is sattvic, if I overdo it, then it is going to be harmful. Browsing, fasting, talking, and all these, let us have a balanced approach. So with that, the first topic, that is the Bahiranga Sadhana, is over. Now we come to the Antaranga Sadhana. Now Antaranga Sadhana means the inner disciplines. And in the Bahiranga, we will have this port reduction also. Yeah? So with age, and if I really value moksha prapti, then my port reduction also needs to happen. Then, now we come to the Antaranga Sadhana, and that is the disciplines to be followed for a personal practice. And here we will look at some shlokas from 10 to 15. 10 to 15, Antaranga Sadhana. And here we will see that Krishna is specifying many prerequisites. No? So can I should be able to set up a deshaha, place, kalaha, time, asana, seat, posture, the breathing, and the sense organs, mind, and buddhi. So with respect to all of these, I have to practice the meditation. So now deshaha. Now deshaha means a space. Yeah? Where am I going to meditate? So it has to be a pure space. So in 11th shloka, Krishna says, शुचौ देशे प्रतिष्ठाप्य स्थिरमासनमात्मनः नात्युच्छ्रितं नातिनीचं चैलाजिनकुशोत्तरम्. So the yogis in the past, they would have a seat made of kusha grass or the tiger skin for insulation. Yeah. But for us, what is the Desha place going to be? If you have a meditation room, nothing like it. But otherwise, a space in your home which is a high powered zone, like your puja room or the balcony or a park, and Shankaracharya says by a riverside, an ocean, or a hilltop, where the energy is very pure and high and sattvic. Such a Desha we can choose. Then what about the time, Kala? What time to meditate? A time when everyone else is sleeping. That could be early morning, or a time when we are not going to be disturbed by the courier person, by guests. Yeah. So choose a time, and generally it would be early morning when the sattva guna is predominant. Then the asana. Now the asana is the posture. The posture can be, sitting down on the floor, on an asana, or on a chair. Desha, Kala, and Asana. And then the familiar shloka number 13, Samam Kaya Shirogrivam Dharayannachalam Sthiraha Sampreksha Nasikagram Swam. This is Chanavalokayan. So keeping the body erect. Kaya, Shiras, Griva. The head, the neck, and the spine in a straight line. And we get ready for meditation. Then, so these are all the antaranga sadhanas. So we have the place, the time, and we need not be ambitious. I'm going to meditate for 1 hour per day. No, 5 minutes please begin with, or 10 minutes. 10 minutes, we assure, we fix the place, the time, the seat, the posture, and do a little breathing or japam. Pranayama, we know, is the subtle regulation of prana and which calms the mind. Now, have you noticed whenever we sit down for meditation, that's when we are going to get disturbed. Yeah, some memory come from the past, or my mind will go to the future. What am I going to cook for dinner? So what do we do about the sense organs and the mind and the buddhi which are pulling me away from the practice? We do what is called a sankalpa, a resolve. Sankalpa is, we tell the mind, oh mind, you please cooperate with me for 10 minutes. Yeah, so we will just focus on this mantra, on this Ishtadevata, on this Gita shloka, just for 5 or 10 minutes. And after that, you are free to do what you want to do. So that is the way we restrain the senses, not by force, not suppressing them, but choosing a quiet time, quiet place, and getting ready for the practice. It's amazing, how much just 10 minutes per day can improve the quality of our life. And the buddhi has to be convinced, because the buddhi is a rational faculty. So the buddhi has to be convinced that we are taking baby steps towards moksha prapti. So all this is included in what is called the antaranga sadhanas. Okay. If you all remember, I have done a meditation workshop a couple of years ago. I'll share the link where, we have seen what is meditation. There are so many myths about it. Many people think meditation is thoughtlessness. No, it is channelizing the mind in a very well-directed way to abide in the Atma Tattva. That is the nature of Nididhyasanam. So that is the next topic number 3, which is Dhyana Swarupaha. Dhyana Swarupaha means the nature of meditation. And we see they are covered between 18 to 26. Yada viniyatam chittam atmanyevavatisthate nisprihah sarvakamebhyah yukta ityuchyate tada yatha deepo nivatastah nengate sopama smrita. Yogino yata chittasya yunjato yogamatmanaha. So, here, the practice of meditation is talked about. How the Dhyana Yogi is choosing to channelize the mind towards the Atma Tattva. And here there are the shlokas. Shanai Shanai Ruparame Buddhya Dhriti Grihitaya Atma Samstam Manakritva Nakinchidapi Chintayet. Shloka number 25 and 26. So that is slowly and gradually we pull the mind and the sense organs to the object of contemplation. Now, how are we going to contemplate on the Atma? Atma is not an object, it is aprameya. So we dwell on those Gita shlokas or Upanishad mantras which define the Atma. Atma is Sthula, Sukshma, Karana, Sharirat, Vyatiriktaha. Atma is Akarta, Abhokta, Avikari, Aprameya, Atma. So I turn the mind and channel it towards these thoughts. So you see, what is Nitidhyasanam now? Sajatiya Vritti Pravahaha or Jnana Pravahaha. Just like the Ganga flows towards the Ganga Sagaram, the ocean, so too I want the mind to flow to its source. The source is Atma and then abide there. So initially what's going to happen a few times? The mind is going to run out to a memory, past memory, or to a future worry. So then again Krishna says, Yato yato nischarati manas chanchalam astiram tatastato niyamyetat atmanyeva vasham nayet. 26th shloka. That is, whenever the mind goes out, then we gently bring it back to the japa mantra, to the Ishtadevata, to that Gita shloka repeatedly. This is called abhyasa. So by this repeated practice, we will find that the Atma, the mind will remain at the source. And then in 19th shloka, beautiful simile is given. Yatha deepaha nivatasthaha na ingate sa upama smrita. So the upama, the illustration is, the mind of this Dhyana Yogi is like a flame which does not flicker. Why does it not flicker? Because it is kept in a nivatastaha sthalam, a place where there is no wind. So that is the practice of vairagyam also. So this Dhyana Yogi, he or she brings the mind back again and again to that Atma Tattvam. Now, this is the Dhyana Swarupaha. That is, the third topic is over. The nature of meditation up to 26. Now, the next topic is Dhyana Halam. Now, what is the benefit of meditation? Today there is so much awareness about yoga and meditation, thankfully. So the Harvard International School of Study, they have printed reports that meditation reduces the bad cholesterol and stress and cortisol and all these very good benefits. But the primary benefit, the main benefit of meditation is the crystal clear knowledge of Atma. That is, I want to own up my true nature. Aham asmi, aham bhami. Kadapi na apriyaha. I'm always dear to me. So that is the route to moksha jnanam. So here, the phalam is described from verses 27 onwards to 32. And where Krishna says, when we meditate, let's say in the morning, then what do? We discover the space between Atma and the Anatma entities. The roles are Anatma, the worldly positions are Anatma, the relationships, my transactions are all Anatma. So I discover a space. So I have a background of awareness of Atma. And that Atma is Ishvaraha. So I'm always anchored in the Ishvara awareness. And so the mind will not react as much, as much when the space is there. And so there are a number of benefits, and in 22, yam labdva chaparam labham manyate nadikam tataha yasmin sthito na dukkhena gurunapi vichalyate. That is, the one who practices dhyana yoga will not be shaken by gurunapi dukkhena. Heaviest of life challenges cannot shake this dhyana yogi, because there is no greater gain than Atma Tattvam. It is Atyantikam Sukham. Atyantikam Sukha means it is an Ananda that is not dependent on an external factor. It is not the Ananda we get from a situation, from a person, from an event, from an object, which is experiential Ananda. Priya Moda Pramod. So this Anandam is 24/7 and it is called Nirnimitta Anandam. There is no Nimitta for this Anandam. So all these are the benefits of meditation. And in the shlokas from 27 to 32, also Krishna describes beautifully, Yomam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sacha me na pranashyati. The one who does dhyana yoga will be able to see what? Will be able to see the pure existence in everybody. We saw a similar shloka in the last chapter, no? Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini. So there will be the Samadarshanam is the pure existence in everybody. So when I can see the pure Krishna Tattvam in all, there will be an all accommodating behavior. Yeah, I will be able to appreciate everything as Asti Bhati Priyam. So there will be no more conflict, no more competition and stress. So Sarvatra Samadarshanam will be there. And one sees the Krishna Tattvam in all. And Krishna says, such a one is so dear to me, he will never perish. Tasyaham na pranashyami, sachame na pranashyati. He is never lost to me, nor am I away from such a devotee at any time. And here also, 31 is a beautiful shloka. Sarva bhuta sthitam yomam bhajatye kattvamastitaha sarvatha varthamanopi sayogi mai vartate. Always abides in me. So that is the prayojanam. The prayojanam is the unfading relaxation or being anchored in the tattvam, in the nityavastu, and being in Anandam all the time. Now, the next topic is number 5. So now Arjuna has been patiently listening and he has a doubt. And the doubt comes in shloka 34. Very famous shlokas now. Chanchalam himana Krishna pramathi balavadridam tasyaham nigraham manye vayo rivasu dushkaram. This is, oh Krishna, it sounds very nice to sit down and meditate peacefully and gain peace. But chanchalam hi manaha Krishna, this mind is so fickle-minded, chanchalam. And not only chanchalam, it is pramathi and balavat and dridam. It is stubborn, it is turbulent, and it is very, very strong. And we know this very well, the monkey mind. When I decide to fast, I get tempted. And when I decide not to buy something, I'll be online shopping. You know? So it looks like the mind, it's very, very difficult to master one's mind. And have you noticed it is very easy to advise others on the mind? So we tell others, you know, life is like that. Don't get angry. Don't get hurt. Don't be anxious. It'll pass away. But when the same situation comes to us, how difficult it is. We also get upset. We get angry. We get hurt or anxious, you know. So this is what Arjuna says. Tasyaham nigraham manye vayoho iva sudushkaram. Krishna, it is so difficult to control this mind. It is like controlling the wind. Yeah, I know which is easier. And there, Krishna gives the answer here and says, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Tas Asamshayam Mahabaho Manodurnigraham Chalam Abhyasena tu Kaunteya Vairagyena cha Grihyate. This topic number 5 is about the obstacles. No? The obstacles of the mind is really the mind itself. The mind may feel sleepy, the mind will feel distracted, the mind will feel overwhelmed by emotions and sad with the memory or anxious about the future, all about the mind. Then what is Krishna's response? Krishna gives the twin remedies. Very famous shloka. Asamshayam Mahabaho. O Arjuna, definitely I agree with you that Manaha is Chalam. It is very wandering in nature. This monkey mind is not easy to master. But Abhyasena tu Kaunteya Vairagyena cha Grihyate. But it can be mastered. Grihyate. How? Abhyasena and Vairagyena. Two important words. Abhyasa. Abhyasa means repeated practice. If I don't succeed in anything, if I give up, then I will never succeed. Yeah, so it is with anything in life, and especially with meditation. The first day I sit down to meditate, then the mind will pull me out right away. Yeah, I will give up in 2 minutes. Doesn't matter. Next day you try again. Same desha, same kala, and same place, time. No? Then slowly the mind begins to understand. It is time to meditate. I should not disturb. I should cooperate. So Krishna is encouraging Arjuna that you repeat the practice. And it is like the grooves, the samskaras in our mind. If there's a very strong coffee samskara, then the mind will demand coffee all the time, or alcohol, or smoking. But if by repeated practice, I weaken that samskara and strengthen a green tea samskara, let's say, then the mind will be less demanding. And so, by repeated practice, abhyasena, Krishna says, you can master the mind. And what is the other remedy? At the same time, we have to do the practice of vairagyam. Now, vairagyam, the definition is ihaloke paraloke bhogeshu ichharahityam. That is, I no longer have a desire for pleasures in this world or in the other worlds, any lokas. So I'm done with Artha and Kama, and now I want the priceless treasure of Atma. So the Vairagyam is distancing. How do we do that? Distancing from worldly objects by dosha darshan. Dosha darshanam is to see the finite nature of objects that I want, to see the limitation. Will it give me permanent happiness, or will it bind me to the cycle of karma? It'll make me addicted even more, and craving will increase. Do I really want that? So this kind of inner dialogue will result in Vairagyam. So when both are there, Vairagyam, healthy distancing, objectivity, dosha darshanam, plus repeated practice is there, Krishna says, Manaha can be what? Grihyate, can be mastered. Okay? This is like that example we give of the Rasagulla and Gulab Jamun. Yeah? Now, the gullas are the cheese balls or the jamuns, no? So when they are dipped in the sugar syrup, then they swell and soak in all the sweetness. Yeah. So here also, Vedantic contemplation or Nididhyasanam is about soaking the mind, the Buddha-like mind, in the syrup of Nididhyasanam, immersion. So I want to arrange all the priorities in my life so that they will all be conducive for a meditative, contemplative life. If my outer activities are very hectic, yeah, I'm in the office from morning 8 p.m. to 4 p.m. Then I rush and change, and without eating, I sit down and log into Zoom for Gita. That's not going to help. So with age, if you're 70, 65, 70 plus, we have to reduce the outer activities, port reduction, social engagements. My great granddaughter's engagement, you have to be present. If you travel, yeah, it's a personal choice. I agree. But then you have to value, am I going to, how many years I'm going to do that? So if we go on being extroverted, even beyond an age, then the chances, the opportunities for becoming contemplative will reduce. Yeah, and the faculties also go down, isn't it? With age, our body becomes slow. The faculties also become less alert. So here Krishna is advising a healthy balance of both. Now that was topic number 5. Now Arjuna has another question in this very chapter, and that is topic number 6 about the yoga bhrashtaha. Now Arjuna has a doubt. Now he says, oh Krishna, what if one fails to attain the goal of moksha in this life? What if the mind could not accomplish dhyana yoga? And what if our efforts are insufficient? So Arjuna is already thinking about the next life. Yeah, about the next life and thinking, what will be the fate of this jiva who, although has begun the journey, the spiritual journey, and who has practiced Bahiranga sadhanas, Antaranga sadhanas, but the effort is not adequate. It is falling short, and prarabdha is getting over, and life ends. So will that jiva not perish like the cloud, the cloud in the sky, which just splits and just disperses? Now Krishna encourages Arjuna here in shloka number 40. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Parthanaiveha namutra vinashastasya vidyate nahi kalyanakas krit kaschit durgatim tata gacchati. He lovingly addresses Arjuna as, hey Tata, my dear one, hey Partha, na iha na amutra tasya vinashaha vidyate. There is no vinasha, no destruction for such a jiva, either here or hereafter in any other loka. So Krishna says, Arjuna, you are talking about the yoga bhrashtaha. Yoga bhrashta is the word used for a spiritual failure. Failure because the moksha prapti was not obtained. Yeah, but it is a high level of dhyana yoga, but it falls short of moksha. So Krishna says, I call this person Kalyanakrit. He's an auspicious one. He's an auspicious one who has already reversed the samsaric path, who has come away from Prayo Marga to Shreyo Marga. So he will never meet with a bad fate. Yeah, and guaranteed, moksha is guaranteed for this person either in this janma or in the next janma or in the next to next janma. All that is possible. So Krishna consoles and says that a sincere spiritual mumukshu, this Arurukshu, who sincerely has been doing karma yoga, then dhyana yoga, then shravanam, mananam, nididhyasnam, and if life ends, that is not the end of the story. The Jiva Yatra will continue. And how? So this yogi, due to punya, will exhaust the punya in all the lokas. Then when the punya is exhausted, will be reborn. And Krishna says very clearly here, says, Shuchinam Srimatam Gehe, Yoga Bhrashtaha Abhijayate, will be born in an affluent family. Shuchinam and Srimatam Gehe, pious family, who are sattvic. And so there, or Durlabhataram, or even more, a rare opportunity, the person may be born in a family of yogis. Yeah, yogis, where the start will be immediate. So the parents will be karma yogis, dhyana yogis, or running an ashram or a patashala. And this jiva born in that family will very quickly pick up the thread and continue the jiva yatra. And Krishna says that Tatratam buddhi sanyogam labate paurvadehikam. So we know that the subtle body travels, yeah, from Janma to Janma. And so our opening balance in this life was the closing balance in the last life. So the subtle body with all the samskaras, whatever we have gained in terms of knowledge, is all intact. So Krishna says, in the new Janma, in the new physical body, the jiva will connect to the Paurvadehikam Buddhim, the previous mind, which is traveling. Yeah? And then it will pick up the thread and avashaha. Avashaha, that is, even if the jiva is unwilling, still the jiva will be impelled to continue the jiva yatra. Why? Because the force of the samskaras will be there in the mind. Yeah? That is why we see, in certain children or very young children like Nachiketa, no? Suddenly, they will not take the normal path, the worldly path. Why? Because of the strong Purva Janma samskaras. Already a great degree of the mastery of the mind has been, mastered in the previous Janmas. And so Krishna says, Aneka Janma samsiddhaha tataha yati param gatim. So over various lifetimes, one attains this perfection. In every Janma, it's an opportunity to master the mind, and one comes closer to the goal of moksha. And and for the jnani, of course, like Ramana Maharishis, so they are the yoga brashtas of previous lives, and so there is no more janma for them. So they are born as Siddha Purushas, and there is no more seeds which can come as the Punar Janma for them. So this is how Krishna consoles Arjuna, that Arjuna, one has to do what is to be done and continue the Jiva Yatra, and definitely it will be a positive, auspicious Jiva Yatra, and the person will be a Kalyana Krit. So with that, shloka number 45, this Arjuna's second question is also answered, and then the main topics are over. Now the last two shlokas we see are again called Bija shlokas. Bija shlokas means they announce the next chapter. Yeah, the next shatkam is going to be announced. So let us read the 46th and 47th shloka. Tapasvibhyodhiko yogi jnanibhyopi matodhikaha karmibhyaschadhiko yogi tasmat yogi bhavarjuna yoginamapi sarvesham madgatenantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yoma same yuktatamo mataha. So now these last two shlokas are in praise of the Dhyana Yogi by Sri Krishna. So Sri Krishna says, this yogi is tapasvibhyaha adhikaha, is greater than the ascetics, tapasvis. Then jnanibhyaha api mataha adhikaha, greater than the jnanis. Then karmibhyaha cha adhikaha, greater than the karma yogis. And such a yogi, Bhava Arjuna, you become this yogi. Now, we have to understand this in the proper light. When Krishna says this Dhyana yogi is superior to karma yogis, superior to jnanis, superior to ascetics, what is meant here is the jnanis who are still in the Shravanam Mananam stage, but who have not yet come to Nididhyasana. But now the Dhyana yogi has heard about Atma, has resolved the doubts about Atma, and now is internalizing, assimilating, owning up the vision. And hence, such a Dhyana yogi is superior, adhikaha, to jnanis. So that jnani word, jnanibhyaha adhikaha, is those who are in the process of gaining knowledge. That is a prior stage. And Karma Yoga, we all know, is the first stage. We all begin with Karma Yoga to remove the malam of the mind, raga dvesha. Only then we can come to jnanam. But jnanam also, there are stages. We do tapas to purify the mind, and then we enter shravanam, guru prapti, then mananam, then finally nididhyasana, dhyana yogi, and then we have the moksha prapti. And that is why Krishna, puts the Dhyana Yogi on such exalted level and says he is the foremost. Then the last shloka says, of all the yogis, this yogi is yukta tamaha. This dhyana yogi who is absorbed in me and who bhajate mam shraddhavan, who with shraddha worships me. So the dhyana yogi is the one who is contemplating on Atma. And that Atma is nothing other than Ishvara Tattvam. So Krishna says that Yomam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati sachame na pranashyami. Tasyaham na pranashyami. So Krishna says, I am the indwelling Atma Tattvam and this Dhyana Yogi who is absorbed in me. How can I be away from this yogi? And this yogi is the exalted one, or the best of all the yogis. So, now we see that Krishna is, what is Krishna said in the final shloka of chapter 6? May one meditate on me. Now, who is this me? So that is why the last two shlokas are bija shlokas. So they are hinting on the next shatkam. Now we know that the middle shatkam of the Bhagavad Gita is Tat Pada Shatkam. And Tat is Ishvaraha, Jagat Karanam. And so Krishna is now going to talk about himself. So now the entire Jiva Prakarana, Tvam is over. We are leaving behind the Jiva, we are leaving behind planet Earth, and we are soaring into the Bhagavat Swarupaha. In the next 6 chapters, Krishna is going to beautifully unfold the Jagat Karanam Ishvara and the power of Maya and the stages of Bhakti. What are the stages of Bhakti? Why do people worship Bhagavan for various reasons? And who is the best Bhakta? All that is going to follow in the middle Shatkam called Tat Pada Shatkam. But again, as we know, there are various stages of growth. Where does Arjuna stand in all of this? He has to do his Karma Yoga. So the Karma Yoga is the level 1 bhakti towards Ishvara. Swakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati manavaha. 18th chapter, Krishna will say, one can express the bhakti towards Krishna by performing one's duty. And then in the middle shatkam, we are going to see that how that Karma Yoga Bhakti turns to Jnana Bhakti. And the Jnana Bhakti is the Uttama Bhakti because in that one does not want anything other than Ishvara, that Aikyam. That is the superior state. So we are going to see this shift, the dramatic shift of topic from to Bhagavat Swarupa, Bhagavat Anugraha, and the nature of Bhagavan and the stages of Bhakti in the next 6 chapters. Om Tatsat iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Atma Sanyama Yogo Nama Shashtodhyayaha. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. So these are once again the topics we saw today. Bahiranga sadhanas, outer disciplines. And what do I need to do in the outer life, daily life? Then antaranga sadhanas, how to set up my personal practice at home. And what are the steps there? Then what is the nature of meditation? How exactly to do meditation? What is the benefit, outcome of meditation? What are the obstacles and what is the remedy? Abhyasa and Vairagya. Who is a yoga brashta? and what is his or her fate. And finally, the praise of the Dhyana Yogi was given here. And Om Tat Sat.